Good evening, BookTube. I thought I would, in this video, just show you the used books I have recently purchased at thrift stores and at a library used bookstore in Grand Haven called Cheap Stacks. The other day, it was really a nice day here in West Michigan, and I drove to Grand Haven, which is not far from us, and I visited their library used bookstore, the Cheap Stacks, and I bought some books for, I think I spent $4.50. And then this week I went to thrift stores here where we live and found some books, and I want to get these down the lower level before we go into the new week of December 2017. Here it is December the 2nd. It is 9:55 at night here on a Saturday. So I'll first show you the books I got at local thrift stores. I found at Bibles from Mexico, Shogun, the novel of Japan by James Clavell. This is the last of his series. I have the other ones down the lower level, Taipan and King Rat. So now I have all three of them. And then I found at Bibles from Mexico this novel called The Motel Life, a novel by Willy Vlautin. And the reason why I got this, it says it likened it, it quoted this from this magazine, like all the best bits of Dennis Johnson and Raymond Carver worked up into something new and strange and funny. And so it was only 25 cents. And I found at Bibles to Mexico in Pharaoh's Army, Memories of a Lost War by Tobias Wolff. This is a memoir by Tobias Wolff when he was in the Vietnam War. And I found a mystery novel, Crime, by Patricia Highsmith, The Talented Mr. Ripley. I found this at Bibles to Mexico. I found at Bibles to Mexico, Clive Barker, Abarat. This is a fantasy novel. I found out I already had this in my library, or our library, so I could take it to the book nook. And I found at Bibles to Mexico, The Downfall of Money, Germany's Hyperinflation and Destruction of the Middle Class by Frederick Taylor. This is a history of the financial collapse of the Weimar Republic and the rise of Hitler and Nazism. And I found this at Salvation Army, Mr. Wilson's War, the Assassination of McKinley to defeat the League of Nations by John Dos Passos. And what else did I find? Oh, I found this at Bibles to Mexico, Wind, Sand and Seas. It's a memoir by Antonio de Saint-Exupery. And what else? Oh, I found at Salvation Army, the collective stories of Jean McPhailin. I showed you that already. What else here? The rest of the books I got, well, this book I bought Friday when I volunteered at the local library bookstore. I bought this, Love, Poverty and War and Journey and Essays by Christopher Hitchens. I already showed this. Today I had to cover for somebody at the Book Nook from 1 to 3 today, and I got this for my free book, 1,000 Forces and One Acorn, an anthology of Spanish language fiction by Valerie Miles. This is by Spanish writers, and a lot of this has not been translated into English. So I got that as my free book. These are the books I got at the Cheap Stacks in Grand Haven the other day when I drove up there. I showed you this one, 1,000 Days, John F. Kennedy in the White House by author M. Schlesinger. Showed you that. And then I bought Dorsey Lessing's short stories. I already had this, but mine was an old paperback. And I found a novel by Louis Akerklaas, Portrait in Brownstone. This memoir, The House in France, a memoir by Gully Wells. And I found a biography on the life of S.L. Perelman by Dorothy Herman. I collect the writings of S.J. Perelman. He wrote for the New Yorker way back in, a long time ago, back in probably in the beginning of New Yorker magazine. And then I found a novel by Edmund White, Beautiful Room is Empty. And then I found this memoir by Jose Sarmondigo. He's a Portuguese writer. This is Small Memoirs, Memories, a memoir. This is translated out of Portuguese by Margaret Joel Costa. Then I found a novel by Penelope Lively, Claire Backus' sister. And I found a novel by Mordecai Richler. He's a British writer. I have another novel of his in our library. This is Joshua, Then and Now. So I got all these used books this week, and I can... this is the thing I read today when I was at the Book Nook. I was reading a short story that I have not finished. That's all I've read today, because when I got home from the Book Nook, it was like 3 o'clock, and I turned the TV on, and I've been watching college football all day right now. It's like halftime, and I thought I'd take a break here and just make this little video so I can put all these used books out of the living room, take them downstairs into the lower level, and then we start a new week, and yeah, who knows. That's about it. I didn't really find anything that blew me away. This is glad I got this today, because a lot of this material by Spanish writers has not been translated into English. So yeah, just a bunch of odds and ends just to add down into the lower level chaos. So I hope you had a good reading week. It's a new month. I haven't shown you my to be read list. I showed you some of it yet last night, but I have a bunch of other books. But my wife is off tomorrow night, and so tomorrow I'll show you what I plan to read throughout the December, besides the Christian books I showed the other night. So I hope you had a good week, a good Saturday, and until next time, bye.